there's a secret to dog training that only a few elite trainers know about, and it's the missing piece that could take your dog's training to the next level. The Canine Cooperative is an exclusive community of dog owners that know the secret, and they are using it to achieve greatness with their dogs. The cooperative has videos on dog psychology, leash handling, stranger danger, and solutions for common issues. Use promo code PODCAST to save 50% on your first month. For less than $10, you can start training your dog today. Try it out. You have nothing to lose and your sanity to gain. Enjoy the show.
Time again for Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, owner of Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. It's the show that delves into the training, socializing, behavior, nutrition, and wellness of your dog. And brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard, with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And we're back with the trainer, Ian Grant, and this week we are leaning on nutrition this time around and knowing how to read dog food nutrition labels. And I find that people nowadays, dog owners nowadays, are more conscious of what they feed their dog than like 20, 30 years ago when, Alpo was always so great. Man, I'll tell you.
Alpo, Gravy Train, all that stuff.
Yeah, so those who are dog owners and dog lovers know that it's important what you feed your dog.
Yeah, and we look at the list of ingredients, and I think almost everybody knows that the list of ingredients is by the most abundant ingredient listed to the least abundant from top to bottom. And we're always told to make sure that the first ingredient is a protein of some sort. But, and here's the big but that's coming.
Yes.
The reason it is listed as the most abundant as the first in the list of ingredients is because it's based on its pre-cooked weight.
Okay.
Meaning, if chicken is the first ingredient, and then after that there's grains and flours and all that kind of stuff, that is all based on what it weighs before it starts cooking. So as we know, if we take like a roasted chicken and we weigh it beforehand and then we cook it, and then what it turns into afterwards
is lighter.
Way, way lighter.
Mm-hmm.
So then it's actually not based on being the most abundant ingredient in the list.
Oh, okay.
Now, actually, the second, third, and fourth ingredients are becoming the most abundant in the list, meaning the grains. The dog's getting more grains, more flours, all that kind of stuff, more than anything else. And on top of that, too, is when we cook a protein, as we know, there's a lot of moisture that gets taken out of it. An animal like a roasted chicken here, it's going to have all sorts of moisture in it because pre-cooked just because of how it's made up. Afterwards, we know that if we cook something, there's all sorts of juice in the dish and all that.
Right.
Well, that gets removed out of the chicken, and then when it goes through the processing and the dehydrating for dry dog food, now we're losing all these nutrients and its weight too.
So do we have to start looking at labels in a different way now?
Yeah, we want to start looking at labels as the second, third, fourth, and fifth ingredients.
That's what we have to start looking for now. Not the number one anymore.
Not the number one. We need to extend this a little bit because, and I just learned this myself, we want to make sure that at least the first 3 or 4 ingredients are protein because, again, that's based on pre-cooked weight, so we know that when it gets cooked, it's going to lose a lot of its weight. But if the first 4 ingredients are the most abundant, and they are protein, then we're in much better shape. And so, we have to start looking beyond just the first ingredient.
Oh, boy.
Unfortunately, but I think this is also good information for people to understand what they are feeding their dogs, like what you just said. I think there's a lot more out there now for good dog food than what there ever has been.
Mm. So just as I was learning about how to read a label now for dog food, now I got to start all over again almost to get ready for this.
Yeah, we have to relearn because if corn is the second ingredient and that's based on weight, we know that the corn's not going to change a lot of its weight when it's cooked.
Right. So we want that further down the list.
We want it, well, if anything, we don't want it in the list. But too often that corn is looked at as a protein for our dogs, and it's not a healthy ingredient. But I think as we look at this and you look at your dog food and you try to find something that doesn't break your wallet, and of course, Guys has been a sponsor of ours for this whole time.
Exclusively, yeah.
Yep. They have some very knowledgeable people in there that can help you out with something like this. And there's a lot of dog foods out there. There's some that are not going to break the bank. I mean, it's definitely more expensive than what it used to be because it's better food for our dogs. But we gotta know how to read this ingredients list from here on out.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, more people are more conscious of it, and so whatever you decide to save money-wise on your dog food, you'll end up paying more later in vet bills if you don't make the investment earlier, and it could turn out to be actually more out of your pocket in the long run.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. My mother always used to say you could either pay the grocery store or you can pay the doctor.
Yeah.
And this is the same situation. You can either pay for the cheap food and pay for the vet or vice versa. So I think nutrition is where we need to start with this.
And of course, when you adopt a dog and the dog becomes part of your family, it is part of your family, and you wouldn't shortchange your own family in what you're feeding them. So why would you do that for your dog either?
Yeah, and on top of it, too, is if you have kids in your family with your dog, you're also teaching your kids for generations to come that you know how to take care of your dog. And they're going to learn that, too, and they're going to pass that on to, future generations of dog owners, too. So it's a snowball effect.
Yeah, tell your kids, no feeding from the table, too.
Exactly.
That's a whole other show from there.
Yes.
Sure. Back with our question from the doggy bag in just a moment here on Talking Dogs.
Roaming is a Los Angeles-based premium lifestyle brand that is motivated by nature. Roaming features high-quality, earth-friendly dog products made from renewable and natural materials like their bio-based and 100% compostable biodegradable dog poop bags. These bags really are awesome. I've been using their bags for a few months now, and I love the durability, the way they feel, and the fact that they are good for the earth. They also have a special discount for our listeners. Use code VermontDog to get 20% off your first purchase, including 20% off the first 3 orders if you sign up for one of their poop bag subscriptions. They also have some beautiful leather leashes made right here in the USA. You can check them out at roaming.com. That's ROMNG.com. Are you looking for gear that can keep up with your active and adventurous dog? Look no further than Synology Warehouse. They specialize in equipping the modern canine with distinguished, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon. From premium collars and leashes to rugged outdoor gear, they have everything you need to keep your dog comfortable and safe no matter where your adventures take you. I've been using their Biothane slip leashes for months now, and I love them. They have a nice feel, a good grip, and they clean very easily. Use coupon code Vermont to receive 10% off your purchase. Head over to Synology Warehouse on Etsy today and give your dog the gear they deserve. Synology Warehouse, overbuilt gear that's built to last from home to horizon.
Back with Talking Dogs with Ian Grant from Vermont Dog Boarding and Behavior, VFW Drive Hyde Park. Go to his website, vermontdogboardingandbehavior.com, to find out about his facility. And also you can go back to some of our shows that we've done over the past and other podcasts that Ian does throughout the course of the week. Our question this morning, Ian, is my dog will throw her hips and back end at another dog during play. Is that okay? Are they flaunting or what? What's going on here? I don't think I've ever seen Tika's more modest. She's a lady. She wouldn't go flaunting herself.
Flaunting, flirting.
Yeah. So what does that mean?
It's an invitation.
An invitation. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that is kind of flaunting in a way.
Yes. Yeah. It's basically saying, I want to play. Let's play. Move around with me. Let's go. I've seen some dogs really get a little too intense with this. They almost turn it into a hip check.
In hockey.
Yeah. They throw their hips into another dog's shoulders. It kind of knocks them off balance a little bit. That's the only thing that we have to be careful here, is just to make sure that the intensity is not too over the top. But I have to say, it's pretty fun to watch a dog play like this, because they're very social dogs. And the other part of it is, if you think of the actual position of it, they're putting their butt kind of in the other dog's face. So they're actually very comfortable and usually very secure dogs too. So when somebody emails a question like this is actually a good social observation that they're making. Chances are that their dog is very social too. It may take some time to get there, but because also dogs normally meet face to face, which I'm not a big fan of. But so when a dog does this and it's able to turn its body around and be comfortable with it and have another dog behind it, it just shows you that they're secure in who they are. And, that kind of dog can help out a lot of other dogs and teach them how to be social too.
I've never really thought about the fact that how dogs actually want to invite each other to play. You know, they don't just come up to each other and give themselves high fives. Hey, come on, let's go play. You know? So there's no normal way of doing it, but that's one of the ways.
Yeah, and it's normally very body language-esque to start with. It's usually they're not too vocal with saying, hey, let's play.
Yeah.
You know, what we do with our friends is we call them up or send them an email or text message. And
want to get together?
Want to get together.
Yeah.
And for dogs, it's all about body language first.
Huh, about that. Yeah, because, they don't email well.
No, they don't.
If you have a question for Ian, you can email him directly, speaking of email, to info@VermontDogBoardingAndBehavior.com. Next week, is your dog patrolling the house? Seemed like we done something similar to this a few weeks ago.
I think it was through one of the questions that we had, but I thought it would be a good idea to kind of cover this because this can be a pretty intense behavior that needs to be stopped.
Yep. So next week, we'll be on patrol ourselves here.
Yes.
With Talking Dogs with Ian Grant, brought to you by Guy's Farm and Yard with locations in Morrisville, Montpelier, Williston, and St. Albans. And for the trainer Ian Grant, I'm Roland Joy, and we are Talking Dogs.